Welcome to the Complete Story series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read them dramatically back to you. Today we're going to be continuing the storyline of Infinity Gauntlet. I do apologize for the delay on this. It was supposed to come out sooner, but we had a bit of a production issue. Either way, when we last left off, Adam Warlock had assembled the forces on Earth to go up against Thanos, who had killed half the entire universe. That's the story. Let's see how it concludes. When we last left off, the events of Infinity Gauntlet had begun, and Adam Warlock had sent the heroes to their death to fight against Thanos. And that is where we begin. Thanos begins to fight off the swarm of heroes, and as he does, Mephisto whispers that he should hang on a moment. As Thanos freezes time, Mephisto goes on telling him that he has power without limit. These buffoons may prove useful in changing the current situation. Thanos asks how so, and Mephisto tells him, "Courage, my liege. All female hearts, even one as cold as death's, are warmed by the sight of raw courage." Thanos says that he is right. He will shut off all of his powers except power. He will still remain strong, but unable to know what his enemies will do. This will give them 0.05% of winning. He snaps his fingers again, shouting, "Let the battle begin!" As it resumes, Thanos continues to easily overpower the heroes. Across the way, though, Silver Surfer watches and says that he should be there, fighting with his friends. Adam Warlock tells him that that would be utter folly. He has a major role to play in this little game. And at that moment, Wolverine jumps in, stabbing Thanos in the chest, but as Thanos smiles, Wolverine shouts in pain. His adamantium bones begin to transform into spongy rubber, and then his body falls mangled to the ground. The next to fall is Scarlet Witch. By having her magic reflected back at her, she ends up destroying herself. Cyclops shouts out for her, and he fires an optic blast, but as Thanos turns back, a clear box forms around Cyclops' head. While Cap tries to help Cyclops, Thanos turns and rips Vision's chest open, pulling out his circuits and his wires. As Thanos tosses Vision to the side, Cap shouts that Cyclops is dead. "He has no air inside of there, you monster!" Thanos tells him that was rather an unexpected emotional outburst, not one that I was expecting. Just as Thanos finishes though, Cloak appears behind him and pulls him into a dark and fearful dimension. A few seconds pass, and Cap says, "He really did it, but how long can Cloak hold him?" And Cloak says, "I'm not sure, I think maybe." "No!" And at that moment, Cloak's body explodes. Thanos appears shouting, "Supremacy cannot be imprisoned. My divinity is absolute." Firelord and the Destroyer lunge in for an attack, and as they do, Thanos opens up a portal, pulling the two back into Earth's prehistoric past. Torexia then runs up gleefully holding the head of Iron Man, stating, "Look, I have dispatched the metal-clad nuisance." Thanos smiles and says, "Thanks. You have proven to be exactly what I had hoped for." Just then, Thanos is hit in the face with a shot of webbing, and Spider-Man swings in, calling out to Thor that he's all his. Thor throws his hammer into Thanos, knocking him back, and as he does, Torexia grabs Spider-Man, pinning him to the ground. Thor stands over Thanos with his hammer in the air, shouting, "It is time to end this!" But before Thor can bring his hammer down, his body is frozen in place as he is turned to glass. Torexia lifts the bloodied rock that she used to bash Spider-Man's head in, and Thanos smiles, getting ready to destroy Thor's glass body. Nova then quickly flies in to stop Thanos before he can even take a swing, but as he does, Thanos touches him, changing his body into 100 little cubes. Thanos then stomps on the cubes and swings his arm, shattering Thor into 1,000 pieces. As Thanos stands triumphant, Quasar shouts to turn and face him, so Thanos turns back and states that he must be Captain Marvel's replacement. And Quasar yells, "Then the wielder of the quantum bands, and they will prove to be your downfall." Thanos looks at Quasar's hands, and a second later, they explode. Quasar falls to the ground screaming, and then Thanos releases another blast, vaporizing him. As silence begins to fall over the battlefield, Captain America walks over to Thanos, telling him that as long as one man stands against him, he will never be able to claim victory. Thanos tells him that those are noble statements from one who is about to die. And as the stone reaches up to grab Cap, Thanos swings down, breaking his shield. Cap stands back up tall, ready to receive whatever Thanos could throw at him, but that's when Warlock shouts, "Now!" Silver Surfer comes rocketing forward towards the fight, reaching out towards Thanos' hand. Before Thanos can strike, he notices a glint of light, and the Silver Surfer shoots by, missing the gauntlet. Thanos watches the Silver Surfer passes by, and Cap punches into Thanos. Without even looking back, Thanos swings his arm back, hitting Cap in the head, snapping his neck. Thanos then wishes for the battlefield to be cleared, and with that, the bodies of the heroes disappear. Warlock then says they tried this the easy way and failed. Now begins the conflict that he strove to avoid. It is time for the astral beings to make their move. Master Order and Lord Chaos yell out to Thanos that they call upon him to surrender the Infinity Gems or face power beyond his wildest dreams. Thanos tells them that he believes that they will discover that the horizons of his imaginings are far wider than they suspect. They address omnipotence. Tread carefully. Meanwhile, back away from the fight, Adam Warlock tells Doctor Strange to try and locate the heroes that he can for retrieval. The Cosmic Brigade has engaged Thanos. A few seconds later, Warlock and Silver Surfer feel the cosmic clash of Thanos and the others, and its power becomes overwhelming. The Watcher watches the conflict and says that the fear is growing in his heart. The fear that he is witnessing the end of the universe. But as the wave of destruction passes, Eros begins to open up his eyes, and he sees that he is in fact alive along with Nebula. The one who saved them was Mistress Death herself. Thanos continues to show off his power, paying no mind that he is ripping the entire universe apart by the seams. One after another, the cosmic beings fall before Thanos, none having the slightest chance of survival. But in the wake of Thanos' attack, he begins to feel fire. Hell's fire. Thanos begins to ask, what is this? And Mephisto appears through the flames, grabbing the gauntlet, stating that he has come to relieve him of his burden of supremacy. Thanos continues to maintain control of the gauntlet, grabbing Mephisto by the throat, telling him that it is a responsibility that he is not quite ready to relinquish. However, before Thanos can strike again, he is hit with a blast of darkness, and he looks up to see that it is Death who fired it. Thanos asks, "You too betray me. I offered you the universe." At that exact moment, the cosmic beings that Thanos thought to have bested all concentrate their attacks on him. Through the fire, Thanos smiles, and then moments later, those cosmic beings all fall under Thanos' control. He begins to laugh, shouting, "I am Thanos! I am supreme." Just then, Eternity appears before him, and Thanos says that he was wondering when he would show himself. Eternity tells him that he has come to reclaim that which belongs to him, control of this reality. As the two entities collide, there's a brilliant white light that shoots throughout space, and Adam Warlock tells Doctor Strange to retrieve him at once. But as the light from Thanos' fight, there is one more added to his collection, Eternity himself. Terexia then runs over to Thanos' throne, asking him to please say something, and just then, Thanos' essence appears as Eternity's did, asking what would she have him say. The magnificent Thanos has rid himself of flesh. He has shed all vulnerability. It is at this time that one unlikely person begins to make their move. Nebula. Though thought to be mindless, she watched and waited and is now ready to act. Nebula smiles and reaches down, pulling the Infinity Gauntlet out of Thanos' physical body, and she puts it on. Her body begins to change back to normal, and as she shouts, she steps away from oblivion. Her every wish is but an urge away. Thanos stands up from his throne, and as he walks forward, Nebula asks, "Do you know what I yearn for? Revenge!" As she points at Thanos, he and Terexia disappear, and moments later, in the deep void of space, Thanos wakes up looking at Terexia, stating that he could not have the foresight to create her capable of surviving deep space without his aid. He shall miss her, and that's when she dies out there. But survival being not a treasured prize, this body shall endure long after my spirit succumbs to this exile that Nebula has banished me to, an infinity to mule over my own sins. Just then, a portal opens up and Thanos begins to fall through the portal. He suddenly finds himself at the feet of Adam Warlock, and he tells him, "Welcome to Mother Earth." Thanos gets up asking, "Why have you brought me here?" But before Warlock could even answer, Silver Surfer lashes out shouting, "So I might destroy you!" As Silver Surfer and Thanos begin to clash, Warlock tells Doctor Strange that they will not be able to separate them, but he can summon those who can. Doctor Strange holds out his hands and he begins to cast another spell, and that's when a second portal opens with many of the heroes that we thought were killed in battle fall through. The heroes pull Silver Surfer and Thanos apart, and Warlock says that if they're done, they might be interested in how they might be able to save this universe from destruction. And then Thor says that this is exactly where the universe is headed, with Nebula in control of the gems. Her intellect is not up to godhood. But before we continue, I need a word with Thanos alone. While Warlock begins to calm everyone down, Doom begins to ask how they can really go along with this new plan. Warlock is obviously Thanos' secret partner, but Thor pulls Doom out. And Doom continues telling everyone that they'll regret not heeding his warning. They used to be comrades. Thanos then tells Warlock, "Well, comrade, what now? What benefits so I reap from Nebula's defeat?" Warlock asks him, "The truth? Yourself." And Thanos asks, "What? Do you have some kind of special insight into this matter?" And Warlock tells him, "Yes, I was a part of the Soul Gem while you possessed it, which permitted me access to your inner heart. I know you as no other being in the universe does." Looking back, Thanos of Titan, what do you see? A man who is always seeking ultimate power, losing it as soon as he attains it? Why? It is because deep down in your soul, you know you are not worthy of it. 3 times you have triumphed over incredible odds, and 3 times you have supplied the means to your own defeat. You let Nebula wrest the Infinity Gauntlet from you just as you allow Captain Marvel to shatter the cosmic cube. Thanos steps back, telling him, "No, it was a mistake. Even gods, I didn't. I will aid you." Back out in space, Nebula looks at the stars and says that in exactly 5 seconds, she'll be receiving visitors. In 5 seconds, the portal opens with Earth's heroes charging out at Nebula. At that exact same moment in time, Nebula uses the stones to reach out and grab a hold of the heroes. She points out, stating that there are more. 3 more who wish to challenge her. And then she points, and it's Warlock, Doctor Strange, Silver Surfer, and Thanos. Surfer pauses for a moment, thinking, 3? But there are 4 of us. And Nebula begins to encase Thanos in stone, and as she does, Warlock begins to walk around her. Doctor Strange telepathically tells Silver Surfer that Warlock is standing on the outside. As Warlock watches, Thanos continues to taunt Nebula, stating that she has no vision on how to use the gems. "Just look at what great deeds I have accomplished with the Gauntlet!" And Nebula shouts, asking, "What deeds? Killing off half the universe? By the powers of the Infinity Gems, I will see it undone." Warlock motions to Doctor Strange to prepare his spell, and Nebula calls out that she will put things back to the way they were 24 hours ago. In that instant, the wish becomes reality and half the universe is resurrected. Even as that happens, though, Thanos laughs, telling her, "You may have wished for that, but you didn't take into account your own well-being." Thanos looks down at Nebula's charred and twisted body as it was 24 hours ago, and he reaches for the gauntlet, but a second later, she returns to her lively self, placing Thanos back into stone. She says that it was a mistake that could be corrected with just a thought. But just then, Adam Warlock reaches out, touching the gauntlet, and as Nebula feels it, she fires off a blast into Silver Surfer's chest. Warlock is knocked away, and as Doctor Strange kneels down, Nebula asks, "How are you even here?" Of course, the magician. Nebula then encases Doctor Strange's hands, and Thanos tells her that she has truly been fortunate so far. But as she is about to learn, some mistakes are worse than others. Nebula looks back and sees all of the cosmic beings staring straight down at her. There's another flash of light, and as Silver Surfer opens up his eyes, he finds himself back in the Soul World with Adam Warlock. Surfer asks why they're there, and Warlock tells him that it is because his powers are greater here, because this is all a part of the plan. Right now, he is in need of his assistance. He needs him to be a spiritual anchor. While Nebula fights against the cosmic beings, Warlock explains that he knew the outcome of the fights with Thanos, as well as him losing the gauntlet. However, the universe needed saving. Warlock's body begins to grow, and it stands large enough to stand tall in the Soul Gems universe. In a flash, he disappears, and Surfer shouts, asking where did he go. Warlock's voice projects out into space, yelling, "Nowhere, everywhere! I am at one with the universe of the Soul Gem, from the one that I reach out to the 5. Back in reality, Nebula encases the cosmic beings in stone, shouting that she is the omnipotent Nebula. She turns to Thanos, stating that he now bears witness to the birth of the Astral Dynasty. What say him? Through Thanos, Warlock shouts that there will be disharmony. Suddenly, the gauntlet explodes with power, and it falls to the ground. That disharmony, that weird vibe between all of the gems, caused it to break. With the power of the gauntlet, everyone begins to break free, all trying to claim it. But as they reach out, there's a flash of light, and Adam Warlock stands over everyone, wearing the gauntlet. He tells them, "Let the conflict end." He looks at the cosmic beings and he wills them free, and then everyone stares at Warlock. Nebula asks, "Are you fools? Are you going to let him take the power? What right does he have to take it?" And Warlock tells her, "I have the right of possession. That is enough. The infinite power is now Adam Warlock. Seek not to dispute that claim." As Warlock makes his claim, Hulk and the Destroyer turn to Thanos and shout that they have unfinished business. But as they reach out for him, Thanos knocks them both away with one swing, telling them to unhand him. And he presses a button along his belt. He then suggests that they put some distance between him and themselves. A thermonuclear device on my person has just been set to detonate in 15 seconds. Surfer asks why would he do that, and Thanos says, "Because I would rather have death than imprisonment." Thor quickly spins his hammer, throwing it into Thanos' stomach and launching him into the stars. The belt explodes, and as everyone watches, Arrow says that is exactly what he would have expected from Thanos. He steps forward, stating that as a representative of the sovereign state of Titan, he now claims custody of Nebula so the Titan may judge and imprison her. Warlock snaps his finger, stating so be it, and suddenly they disappear. Doctor Strange then says that they're still here. Why? And Warlock tells him it's because each of them have gazed into the depths of his heart. Now they will go forth and tell the masses that Adam Warlock is a god who can be trusted. Doctor Strange tells him that he is not so sure that they can be truthful there. That power corrupts is a truism that cannot be ignored. Warlock then asks, "Do you fear a cosmic despot?" Surely you must realize that even before Thanos you lived under such tyranny. Thor tells him yes, it was a benign rule, random and unfocused. And Warlock then asks, now that it is calculating, you find that unsettling? Afraid of replacing your usual chaos with order might prove unpalatable? The three begin to charge towards Warlock, and as he wishes, they disappear, and they are replaced with Pip and Gamora. A few seconds later, he then teleports everyone to an unnamed planet 60 days into the future, and Gamora then asks why they're here. Warlock tells her that they're paying a visit, and as Pip looks out on a field, he sees something and shouts, Thanos. The three walk up, and Warlock says that he is merely an empty shell, nothing but a scarecrow. The three begin to walk towards a small house, and Thanos steps out, stating that he should have known that he couldn't fool him. Warlock then tells him he knows well enough that there are no secrets that can be held from him. Warlock then sits down on the steps, stating that he has not come seeking revenge, but advice. Thanos laughs, telling him that if he cannot endure it, to surrender the power. He knew that that would be the answer, so why ask? Warlock gets up, telling him that those are puny words of comfort. And Thanos then asks, where does the Supreme Being go from here now? Warlock says, to confrontation to resolution, then back to another confrontation. Such is my lot. Time has taught you the folly of such existence, has it not? Thanos tells him that 3 failures of such scope are enough for even him. A quiet life will allow him to digest and incorporate the lessons that have passed and have been forced upon him. Warlock waves and then says that he wishes him the best of luck, and as the three walk away, Pip then asks, why the heck did he let Thanos live? Warlock tells him that he is merely a piece like all the others in a mosaic that is the universe. Without Thanos, the picture is incomplete, and with that, the three disappear. Thanos sits down on his stoop, thinking that Adam Warlock was a man who wanted nothing more than to live peacefully inside of the Soul Gem. He now possesses infinite power with all of the responsibility that comes with it, yet strangely, he does not envy him. Somehow, it is as if Thanos is the one who came out ahead in this long run after this particular ordeal. And there you have it, the conclusion to Infinity Gauntlet, but we're not actually done. You see, there's a sequel that happened in Secret Wars over in the Battle World, and we're going to be covering that next. So make sure you subscribe so you can see what happened next with the Infinity Gauntlet. And don't forget to find me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/eligiblemonster, where every Sunday and Monday you'll find me and the Comicstorian team bringing you a podcast live right over there, where you can talk to us about your favorite comic books, what we've read that week, what you've read that week, or you can subscribe over there and watch it whenever you have time. Thank you, and I'll see you later.